It's your main man, DG the Great, back again with another video. And today, I'll be talking about rivalry weekend and the upset that occurred yesterday. Upset that we thought wasn't going to happen. But before I get into that, I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I hope everybody was able to see their loved ones, eat good food and all of those good things, man. And I just hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. But back at the topic at hand, these three teams that I got on this board right here, I'm really just by them losing yesterday, it done opened up the floodgates for a lot of teams with 3 losses to get into the playoff, particularly Alabama. And I'm gonna get in that right now. So we're gonna get on Ohio State first. Now, y'all know in the offseason they spent over $20 million in NIL money to complement that roster they have up there. Only for them to lose to a team that was 6-5. And we talking about the Michigan Wolverines. Michigan was 6-5, and they only managed to score 10 points against them. All they had to do was win that game, and they was in the Big Ten championship. And they college football playoff, bro, whether they would have lost that game or not, was all just sold up. They was getting in regardless. But by them losing this game to an unranked team this late in the season, you finna open the door for a lot of other teams. So yeah, Ohio State, y'all spent all that money in the offseason, $20 million through the transfer portal and NIL money, and you're not even gonna play in your conference championship. That's sad, man. That's crazy. But hey, Ohio State, what? I ain't gonna say Ohio State. Ryan Day. Man, you 1-4 against Michigan since you became the head coach. 47-1 against everybody else. But when it comes to Michigan, for whatever reason, you can't beat them no matter how bad they are or how sorry they is or what they got going on. It don't matter. You can't beat them. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Yeah, Ohio State, they lost. They was the number 2 team in the country. Yeah, that just don't open up the floodgates, man, for a lot of other teams, man. I hate to say it, for everybody who didn't want Alabama to get in the playoffs, with these 3 L's right here, they I can see them getting in now. I don't see how they couldn't get. I don't see how they're gonna get left out. It is what it is at this point. Cause like I said, they was already at the door. They was already knocking at the door. They was at 13. They were one of the first teams out. So they all they needed was a couple of losses. Hell, they fucked around and got 3 losses to help them out yesterday. So that's 3 slots that's finna fall above them. So they gonna move up. That's just what it is. But yeah, back to Ohio State, man. Y'all blew it. Crazy, man. Couldn't manage but 10 points against Michigan. Ryan Day, man, I'm hearing whispers about you, man. They ready for you to get up out of Ohio State. Yo, man, you was a great offensive coordinator, but as the head coach, you can't beat Michigan. And no matter how bad Michigan is, you can't beat them. You 1-4 against them, man. 1-4. Done lost 4 straight. Whew. It's crazy work, man. Crazy work. But yeah, man. So that was the first one to fall yesterday. Very first one to fall yesterday. Actually, we had 2 fall in the slate of 12 o'clock yesterday. But I got this list in order of rankings. So I'm gonna go ahead and get on Clemson, and I'm gonna come back to Miami last. Tell you how I feel about that Miami game. So this Clemson game, I had a feeling South Carolina was gonna beat them. South Carolina is one of the other teams. Me personally, I would put them in the playoffs. I would put them in the playoffs before I put Alabama in. But a lot of say, oh, you can't put them in and not put Alabama in because they beat South Carolina head up, which is true. So that'll be a valid argument. That's hard to argue against. But just me on the outside looking in, if I'm just going and looking at the eye test, damn the fucking the matchups and shit, I have to go with South Carolina. I feel South Carolina is a better team than Alabama. All across the board, they're playing good defense. Their special team is wonderful, and their offense is it's good. I'm gonna put it that way. Their offense, they do enough to win the ball game. They do it, and they don't turn the ball over. So yeah, Clemson. Once again, Clemson. Dabo Swinney, he refused to use the transfer portal, and it bite him every year. So now it's a report coming out now, seeing where he said he embracing the NIL now. I bet you is. You getting left behind. You was the only school that should not take no transfer players. You still trying to do it the old way. The game done changed. By you doing it the old way, you got 3 L's. The first L you took, that's understandable. You lost to Georgia, which was the #1 team in the country at the time. But then you turn around and lose to Louisville, and then you drop to your in-state rival, South Carolina. Everybody know you cannot lose at the end of the year. You just can't. You can't lose. You cannot lose at the end of the year. So yeah, they dropped this one to South Carolina. But once again, Clemson got saved. And that leads me to my next game. The Miami Hurricanes. I ain't gonna lie, this one let me down, man, because I really wanted to see Miami. Like, I feel Miami could have won the ACC this year. So, no, I'm not a fan of Miami, but I don't have nothing against Miami. This one kind of let me down, because I'm a fan of Cam Ward. I like how he done changed the game for Miami. Like, you already know you're going to have to outscore them. But Miami defense let them down yesterday. They gave up, I'm going to say you gave up 35 points. You gave up 35 points. So I'm gonna put that on the defense. You gave up 35, and of course that fumble they recovered and ran back to the end zone. So technically your defense gave up 35 points. But here's the thing that got me. Miami was up 21-0 in the second quarter. 21-0. Blow the lead and ultimately blew your chances to compete for the ACC title game. ACC championship. And on top of that, you probably just missed out on the playoffs. If I'm being honest. You probably just missed out on the playoffs. You know how the media already feel about Miami. For whatever reason, they holding this stigma over Miami. Then they done lost to 2 unranked teams late in the season. And everybody know the omen, my omen. You cannot lose in November. I don't care who you is. You cannot drop a game in November. You just can't do it. For whatever reason, the committee hold them losses that you have late against you, then opposed to losing in September and early October. You lose in November, they hold them losses against you. Why? Because that's around the time the college football playoff initial rankings come out, and that's what everybody honed in on. They looking at what are you doing for me now? What are you doing now? They don't care about what happened 2, 3, 4 weeks ago. If you lose around November, that's not a good look for you. And Miami did that twice. They lost in November. I hope they get in, man, but I just don't. I don't know what the committee gonna do. Miami defense. No. You gave up 35 points. You squandered a 21-0 lead. 21-0 lead, man. 21-0. I feel for the Miami fans, man. I really do. Like that gotta be a tough one to swallow. So I got about 3, 4 good partners, man. The big time Miami fans. I ain't even talked to them yet. I know they pissed. And they have every right to be. 21-point lead. On the road. And it slithered away like a snake in the grass. Slithered away. Well, just hope this championship weekend it be some other crazy junk go on, because I'm gonna say this: if Georgia win the SEC championship, Georgia and Texas getting in. If Clemson win the ACC championship, those 2 are getting in. If Penn State win the Big Ten, those 2 are getting in. So that's 6 teams already locked up. That's just my opinion. Those 6 teams are already locked up. Big 12, only one of them gonna get in, so the Big 12 winner gonna get in, so that's 7. So you got 5 spots left. Boise State win their conference championship, they getting in, so that's 8. So you have 4 teams, 4 slots left, and I'm finna give you the teams that are in the running to make the playoffs. You have a 9-3 Alabama, 9-3 Ole Miss, 10-2 Miami, 9-3 South Carolina. Who else I'm missing out? I feel like I'm missing somebody else. So those are my teams. You got I'm gonna put it like this. I know I'm missing a couple teams. So with 4 slots left, you're gonna have about 6, maybe 7 teams vying for those last 4 spots. If the championship games go how I think they should go, or if they go like how I just called them out about Georgia winning the SEC, Penn State winning the Big Ten, Clemson winning the ACC. Because I don't think they're gonna leave SMU out if they lose. Hell, they ain't got but one loss. They finished 11-1. They only loss came to BYU. So hell, they 11-1. I don't think they're gonna leave them out, especially if that game competitive. If Clemson win the ACC, Clemson and SMU going to the playoffs. If Georgia win the SEC, Georgia and Texas going to the playoffs. And of course, if Penn State win the Big Ten, hell, it don't matter who win that one. I still feel both of those guys both of those guys getting them. So that's the other team I forgot about, Ohio State. For what it's worth, Ohio State's still gonna be one of those teams that's gonna be vying for them last 4 spots. So you got Ohio State 10-2, Miami 10-2, Alabama 9-3, Ole Miss 9-3, South Carolina 9-3. So you got 5 teams that's gonna be vying for 4 spots. So out of those 5 teams, who would you pick? You got a 10-2 Miami and a 10-2 Ohio State. At the end of the day, the name of the game is getting in the playoff. I know Miami had a 40% chance to make it with the loss. It went from like 95 to 40 with that loss. Alabama, with their win yesterday, they had 23%. So, yeah, they might make it. I don't know. Ole Miss was at 19%. So, yeah, it's crazy, man. So, yeah, man, it's been one of them seasons, man, and there you have it, man. We finally at the end of the year. Robert Week was one for the ages. It was a lot of upsets, man. And like I said, these 3 main upsets just blew that college football bracket wide open. Wide open. Blew it wide open. Mainly the top 2. Because Clemson, they was like, they was right there. They was right there. Like, they was on the edge. But them first 2 blew it wide open. And like I say, man, I hate it for Miami especially, man. I really hate it for them. I do. I really thought they were Miami year to really win the ACC and make some noise, but once again, man, I don't know what's going on with Miami. I don't know if they curse. I don't know what it is, man. But for what it's worth, man, they lost, man. It is what it is. But on that note, man, y'all be blessed. Y'all have a great day. And when it comes to DG the Great, y'all already know what time it is. It's all about them dogs. Go Dogs.